Final feelings for Georgia and Auburn. It's going to be a tough one for Auburn. I'm old enough to remember back when Kirby played in the mid to late 90s, where the better team did not always win this game. That has not been the case this century. Very rarely has the better team not won this game. 2006, maybe 2017, but that soon thereafter. Auburn was certainly the better team that day at Auburn, but they're going to have to really, really play well. Auburn, they got issues at quarterback, meaning they don't have a very good one. They're going to have to function against a very good Georgia offense. It's going to be hard for them, Auburn, to play the way that you really need to play consistently on offense to beat this Georgia team. I don't see it. Now, the caveat with that is, when you go on the road in this league, which Georgia's not done yet, Carson Beck has not done that as the starter. Other players, maybe not a lot of other players, have not done that for Georgia. Not many. Peyton Woodring, he's going to have, to get it together on the road in theory. Something like a missed kick could maybe make this game more difficult than it has to be. I'm not sure about that. Look, and this is not, we have a relationship, this audience and our, everybody at Dog Post. We're just going to tell you what we think it is. We don't sugarcoat things. There's no pom-poms here. It's going to be hard for Auburn to stick around with Georgia. And if they do, it's going to be on broken plays, which we don't see a lot of from against Georgia. It's going to be on, special teams, turnovers, stuff like that. We did see that this last week. Mekhi Muse has been really good. He's been a game changer. He was a game changer against UAB too, in a negative way, on that turnover in the punt return game. Now you take it because of how good he can be and how explosive he can be, but it's going to be hard for Auburn. I think now that they've got their first loss, their fans will be revved up. But college football fans, they may be excessively harsh at times, but they can feel things. Auburn knows they got problems. All you got to do is watch. I've watched them play Cal. I've watched them play Texas A&M. They're not where they need to be. Now, they have a very good defense. They have a very good defense that Georgia will have to figure its way around. They are going to be, it's going to be challenging at Jordan-Hare. Now, if you get a score at the beginning of the game, this might not be the way that it will be at Neyland in a few weeks, a few months. So that's the biggest thing. But if you're kicking back watching this game, maybe you're outside checking it out in your new backyard. We're showing this stuff from EcoPoly. This is really nice furniture. You can get 15% off of all of the items they have. We're rotating what we're showing y'all a little bit. We've shown you rocking chairs and so forth. This right here, now I personally would not leave the seats outside. Why? Because they get wet. If it's covered, that's a different ball game. But if this is what you want to see in your backyard, like let's just say you got Georgia themed. This red and black is the Georgia red and black. So that would be something that I would take a look at if I were y'all. UV inhibiting and 20-year warranty, made in the heart of Georgia in Dodge County and Eastman. Very good products, very comfortable products for someone my size. So you'll be fine. I think if you have children, you could get at least 3 kids on this thing. So check it out. You got 15% off and free shipping. EcoPoly is the name to remember for sure. And the holidays are coming up too. So keep that in mind as well if you want to get a gift that really works. If you're a man watching this, let your significant other see this video too, just this part. But I think for Georgia, this is another opportunity to kind of hone in on how we're going to play from here on out. There's no game where we're just going to have everybody back. It just doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So right now, what's it going to be? How is Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint going to keep playing? How is Muse going to be on offense? How are you going to use Brock Bowers and Edwards? Is Milton going to be back? How's Andrew Paul going to be? There's a lot of guys who've not played a lot of downs that you will see a lot of downs being played by those players in the near future. This team's going to have to slowly not grow up, although there are a lot of new faces or numbers, I should say. This team's not going to necessarily have to grow up. They're going to have to get their sea legs through the year. That's the hard part, is that this team has not played as a cohesive unit yet because the injuries have been so difficult. It's been a difficult year on that front. Georgia's been very fortunate, blessed, lucky. I don't know how you want to describe it, but they've been very fortunate that injuries have not sidetracked them as a program in the past. They're really being challenged right now on the injury front. Now, you're playing an Auburn team that has not recruited at Georgia's level. They are with a brand new head coach who's done a good job so far, Hugh Freeze, but he simply does not have the players he needs to get it done right now. They're just not there. So they're going to have to figure out a way to compete in this game. So, Auburn, Georgia, the Dogs have dominated this thing for a while now. So I talked about 2006. Since that game, Auburn has won 3 times. One of those was with a miracle. One of those was Cam Newton. And the other one, they lost later that year to Georgia in the most important Georgia-Auburn game that there's been, which was in the SEC Championship in 2017. So Georgia has definitely become the boogeyman at Auburn. They've had more success against Alabama in that time. Okay, so that's been rough for Auburn against the Dogs, and truthfully, Georgia's has been the better program in that time. Both teams have played for the national championship multiple times in that period of time. Both teams have won a national championship, singular, in the case of Auburn. But if you were to talk to an Auburn person this week, they would tell you there's no way that they can win this game. I'm not sure. We're not absolutists around here. We don't go for that. I think, Auburn's got a shot to win the game because the game is at home, because the game is, I don't know that it's a look-ahead game, but that they can. When you play at home, man, it's harder. I mean, just look what Clemson did to Florida State this week. Just look what, what's another good example of playing at home? I don't know that Notre Dame. I mean, that helped Notre Dame a lot against Ohio State. So Penn State playing at home was better, kind of than they. It's easier playing at home, and that's going to be the challenge for Georgia as they get ready for. As they get ready for a tough test at Auburn. Hey, shout out to Brad Acree. Brad, what's going on, man? Hey, get some Eco-Poly in your backyard, man. They're ready. They're ready for y'all in Watkinsville, Oconee County. We want to see a lot more of these in your backyards because you go to pools in Oconee County. People got pools. This is perfect for that. Covered little area. Chill out by the pool. You got your TVs in the back. You're watching this game. You can get an antenna in Watkinsville. If I can get an antenna to work on the east side of Athens, shooting the thing through Stone Mountain to get to the Atlanta station, you can get that. Or you can just run a cord out there, or you can be brave and go wireless to watch this game. But it's going to be a 3:30 with Auburn and Georgia. I think, it's just going to be challenging for Auburn. Now, forget the result. Forget what happens, who wins the game and who doesn't. How do you look? Well, Georgia's looked better lately. Georgia's looked better lately. They have, come out, particularly these last 6 quarters. They have been. I didn't think they ran it great at the beginning of the UAB game, but you're allowed to grind people down, man, and that's what they did. I mean, they ground UAB down. People say, well, everybody's going to get ground down by these guys if they want to. You still don't have Mims out there. This could be a very different-looking team. It probably will be a very different-looking team by the time they get to Jacksonville. Maybe by the time, they're playing Ole Miss, Mizzou, and Tennessee. It may be different then. Florida is a little bit, we'll see. But, I mean, I think and this may just be a season where you just don't have everybody. The the game against UAB, you're missing Williams on the line and Bullard in the secondary. If they're playing in the college football playoff or the SEC championship game, those two guys are going to be starting. Ladd McConkey's probably going to be out there. Marius Mims is probably going to be out there. You're missing a lot of starters right now, and you're still scoring 49 points. And you're leaving plays on the field too. So they're not there yet. And the good news is they don't have to be, because we've just started this journey, even though we're a third of the way through this. We were talking about it as we were leaving the game the other day. We're a third of the way through the season. Georgia's played 4 games. It doesn't even feel like it. I just can tell you that right now. It does not feel like it. And these for me, someone who really has, we live this literally every single day. If it's May 14th, Dog Post is living Georgia football that day. That's what we do. It's been a long off season to get to the season, and now we are quickly through this thing. Quickly through a third of the season, and the biggest games are coming up. Is this team where it needs to be to win a championship? We don't know, and I don't know if the Auburn game will tell us about that. I don't know. It might. The South Carolina game did. The South Carolina game did tell us about that. So let's just see what happens, on Saturday against Auburn. I think Georgia will win this game. I don't know about how comfortably, but they're playing better, y'all, and offensively. And Auburn, this is just not the right matchup for them heading into the game. It's a 3:30 kick on CBS. We'll see y'all on the plains at Auburn, Georgia and Auburn, Deep South's oldest rivalry.